He's a lady called Kathleen who has a history of complex regional pain syndrome. We went through the story of what she'd experienced, and then we went to look at why these patterns of pain develop in this situation and some of the things you can do to help it.
I heard that.
There you go, we're off. So, Kathleen, thanks very much for joining me. I'm in England, you're in Texas,
Yes.
half a world away, but it's nice to get in touch with you and hear about how you've been doing with whatever you've experienced. And you had quite a interesting perspective because of your background. So just tell me a little bit about how you come to this point and what you've experienced so far and how you've got on with it.
Well, CPRS, I first learned about it probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I had a surgery on my ankle at the VA, and I wasn't recovering. Actually, I'd had symptoms, but I didn't know it at the time. So I had an ankle fusion, and I wasn't recovering from my ankle fusion as well as the podiatrist thought I should. So she mentioned possibly I had CPRS. And so I looked it up and I was like, oh, I hope not, because it's not anything that I wanted. But in the VA system, being a veteran, it's quite it's frustrating at times. The people are great, but the system is so big that they don't really talk to each other. So that was first mentioned, and I didn't hear about it again until about 6 months ago when my new podiatrist at a different VA said that that was probably what was going on with me. And so I looked it up again, and it really made a lot of sense because I've been having all these other surgeries, but nobody was dealing with my ankle and my foot and my pain. So I'm still not fully diagnosed as with CPRS. The neurologists have said that they sent me out to see, but the neurology department at the VA won't see me. So they sent me to a pain clinic, which only prescribes medications, which is not really what I want. So I'm a little frustrated on how to go forward other than just finding out as much as I can. But people tell me that's what I have, but nobody can diagnose it at the VA unless you're a neurologist. And even though an outside neurologist said that's what I have that they sent me to, the neurology clinic won't see me because I'm supposed to be following all these other protocols first if they'll ever see me. So it's talked about, but right now my current diagnosis is unspecified pain and unspecified limb, which really is not what I have. But in the meantime, I have a fused ankle, neuropathy, um, 2 knee replacements, a hip replacement. I got some back work that's happening. Um, and all I really want is non-opioid interventions that can help.
Mm. And what's brought you to this field?
Brought me to this field or this feeling.
This field of like looking at what you're experiencing through a slightly different lens, maybe to the current
Uh-huh.
system that you're in.
Well, I do believe that the connection between the brain and pain, I do believe in that because I'm just what I've read and interventions that I've done um, help me not to focus on saying the word pain a lot, even though I've said it a lot with you because I'm used to medical people. That's really how we speak of it. But I do think that there's a way to continue to have a good full life without fully concentrating on what's going on with my foot. So I try to say discomfort more, but when I was in the VA, I knew that that wasn't getting me anywhere. So I had to start saying pain. Um, but I think looking at it more from a viewpoint of how to be in the present moment without it being so overwhelmingly about areas in my body that are in discomfort. So I'm trying to find other ways.
Mm. And what are you using?
Um, I try to do the desensitization to where I'm putting other feelings on it, other like tactile feelings, other when it's hurting me, I try to remember that it doesn't kill me. So whatever I need to do to get through to the end of the day where I can put my foot up, or I can, I don't know, have other, like light candles, not because I like the pretty flames, but just because it brings a different sensation, smell into the room. Um, I try to find other ways of talking about it other than how it hurts so much. Um, so I'm kind of in I try to meditate at times, to just to know that there's other things that can happen at the same time other than just discomfort or um, not feeling well.
Mm.
Um, and I try not to let it take over all other parts like relationships or social things, but I also try not to dismiss it, which is that's really a tightrope for me, how not to ignore it, but also not let it overtake me.
Mm. And are these techniques or things, approaches you describe, are things you've just picked up along the way? Or are you actually following a protocol for people who see it the way you do?
Well, I did join the Curable because it was lovely. There was a free and it was so difficult for me to reach out and say I really would like this complimentary membership. But I did do that. And I also had some things happen after that. So I was like a week of logging in and doing some of the things that it said to do. And it was helpful. Some I had tried already, some I had not. And then I accompany but now what I want to do is to practice with it so that I actually put stuff in place, not just like going through it like at school, because I'm a really good student. But what I need not to be is a good student, and I need to be more of putting it in my life and following it the way it should be followed. So I will get back to that, to the curable. So that's something more recent. The other things I do know about, I mean, I do know about meditation. I used to do yoga before my foot was did not really allow me to do it in the same way that I was used to. And chair yoga just was a step too far down for me, though I am going to try that again and do that. Um, so there are some things that I've done because I've just found them along the way, and then other things that are more new.
Mm. And so are you under a particular protocol? Are you under anybody's care at the moment? Are you in between, like you mentioned, you're in between diagnosis or behind, you have this vague description of what the medical system presented about
Yes.
your case. So where are you then? Are you waiting for more treatment or further review?
Um, the pinpoint of my injury is my ankle with the Veterans Administration. So that's why I'm connected to the VA and the only reason I got connected, I was volunteering at a VA and my supervisor said, "You limp, you were injured in the Army, didn't you apply for benefits?" So it was such a supervision issue that I did apply for benefits, not just advocate for people, but actually applied. And then I got connected. Then I started having surgery. So I became 100%. I no longer work outside my home. Um, so when I came in, they fixed my ankle, but then all the other stuff has been in other parts of my body. So nobody really follows me for my initial injury. So as I've changed VAs, because I've moved in different areas of the country, now I'm in Texas, but I was in the Texas system. My primary care retired to be 6 months before they got somebody new. So I went to another VA that was the same distance, about 2 hours away from me. And so I had to start all over. So in starting all over with that primary care physician, she's really good at referring me out, but nobody really works with my ankle or my pain. Um, so right now, I was referred to a podiatrist who recommended that's what I have. Um, I was referred out for an EMG. He thought I had dropped foot, which I thought had been resolved with my ankle. But anyhow, he thought it all originated in my back, which as when I went back to my PC, she said, "Well, maybe, but you still have CPRS." I was like, okay. So I've had to just advocate for myself for alternative type of things. So I asked for a massage, which they now do, and acupuncture, which I've never had. Maybe that'll help. Can I have PT? So they sent me to a PT person. He put me on a RS4I I think is what it is, where it's above a TENS unit and it stimulates muscles, and he put it on my back. So I'm being fitted for that, but nobody's following me for that. Um, I asked for aqua therapy because I used to be in the water a lot more, but I had a hard time walking in it. But I think the pain or discomfort level is greater now, which means it'll be less than what it was when I was in the water last. So I think I can manage that. Um, but again, I don't have PT following me. They just refer me out into the community for that. So I don't know if I'm in between providers that can help with this, or if I'm just getting referred out because they don't know what to do with me.
I can understand how you're quite kind of proactive in approaching different areas and therapies to see what relief works or what doesn't for yourself. Um, um, and it can sometimes be hard, like having a label or not having a label. Either way, you've got a persistent pattern of pain in your foot and perhaps some other areas of your body. And once that's been established, it almost doesn't matter where that pain is.
No.
In reality, it doesn't really matter. It's contextually relevant to you and what it stops you doing or hinders you doing. But from the principle of recovery, it
Uh-huh.
doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter because the principles help anybody with anything that's persistent pain that's been ruled out from a structural point of view from cancer or autoimmune disease or an undiagnosed fracture, an ongoing infection. The main things that we know can cause persistent pain or can contribute to after 3 months. And if you don't have those things, and you still can have those things without persistent pain, it's just they need excluding. So when someone's a year down the line, or 2 or 3 or 4, we can pretty much know that they've all been excluded, and then they're left with a chronic condition that either has a label or doesn't have one. Right? And then applying the principles of recovery, independent of what that label is, means that people can recover from the pain. The structures through which they experience the pain don't have to change.
Okay.
Right? You don't have to change spondylosis to be
Uh-huh.
pain-free in your neck. You don't have to change the damaged disc in your back to not have any back pain. You don't have to
Right.
change a fused ankle to not have any pain in your ankle.
Okay.
You don't have
Okay.
to change the whatever's found that might be the cause of migraine to no longer have a migraine. Right?
Okay.
And so the structure is simply where the system as an organism has represented a mechanism of attempted control to stop the person's conscious intent normally to push through with the behaviors that are threatening to the organism itself.
Okay.
Now, they might have not had a choice at the time it was initiated, might have had to fight the situation, run away from a situation, freeze in it, or fawn. It doesn't really matter. It's a survival instinct we all have. However, you often find at the time that a pain manifests, there's an intensity in the reactive and instinctual patterns that people have that actually are overused. And long after the tissue, should it be injured at the time, long after the time it takes for that tissue to heal, they're still in the state, they're still in the emotional state
Hmm.
of
Yes.
reactive patterns. Now, they might have had that long before there was any physical event.
Uh,
So that's
uh,
why there's a small injury at the onset of CRPS, and this person doesn't recover like lots of others. Or it was a big trauma that is objectively traumatic that stops the person recovering like everybody else. But either
uh,
way, the comparison with others triggers no more than the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response.
yes. Yes. You're not where you should be. Therefore, there's something wrong with you. Yes.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And that's a judgment, that's thoughts, that's a breathing
Yes.
pattern, that's a physical reaction, it's an emotional state, and it round and round and round.
Yes. Yes.
So this could be something that was always potentially going to happen if a childhood was filled with those
Uh-huh.
patterns. It could be something in the happiest childhood that meant that there's a period in life of overload and trauma that might have come through service or forces or time in life or a sense of danger that was there for a while or in a huge pivotal moment in your life where you
Mhm.
didn't have the support structures to come into this rest and digest state.
Mhm.
That's without any predisposition. But there's always a story that makes absolute clear logic
Mhm.
why the organism, this collection of trillions of cells, has stayed in this state. Now, the conscious awareness of that person not being able to see that logic, because it's
Um,
when we experience pain, we view it through an emotional filter.
mhm.
And it's very hard to see the logic as to why our body would do this to us.
Right.
Why
Right.
me? Why me? But we can't see our own behaviors. And the why me, it perceives the pain as a punishment, not a level of protection that the body's trying to convey.
Mm.
So if you view it as what has happened in this person's life for that to have manifested in this situation, means that then you can start to be open to the ideas around what's contributed to it and what possibilities exist to reverse it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And what that means, why is very focused. Why me? Why this? Why does it hurt there? Why does it hurt there? Why can't I do this? Why can't I be this again? That simply illustrates tunnel vision.
Mhm.
So that's kind of focus on the problem. Our
Mhm.
self-awareness drops as we put more effort into focusing on the problem, and the awareness drops like that. And this
Oh.
intensity, which we desperately attempt to solve this problem, is
Uh-huh.
the driver, the stress driver for the physiological mechanisms that then become not only pain, but pain and swelling and redness and head discoloration, hair growth and skin discoloration that becomes um, CRPS or whatever the system is that gets involved.
Mm.
And with CRPS, you tend to see multiple systems involved, not just a bad back.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And it's that lack of control that comes from that collection of things. The person feels they've got no control over their own body. That helplessness that comes with it means that often it's a downward spiral when you're alone with that pattern.
Mhm.
But the good news is that people with what you are complaining of who have recovered.
That's
That,
good.
that possibility exists as a
That is
concept,
wonderful.
and it would have all. And um, some have done it just through using curable, just through using curable. Some people have used it by intuition and recognizing, I can see that the structural things I've complained of have happened and are real, but the amplification
Mhm.
partly has come through a lack of help with people helping me understand it, perhaps because they didn't understand it either, and that could be the medical community.
Mhm.
Partly through my intensity of wanting to beat it and fight it and overcome it
Uh-huh.
and drive past it. Partly because that hasn't worked and then I fear it and
Uh-huh.
daren't move it.
Uh-huh.
And uh, also knowing that there were certain things that happened in my life that this might have happened at some point and it isn't my fault.
Mm.
Yet now I'm responsible, seeing that those components, to start to build in a convalescence, a rehabilitation that's puts me definitively in the rest and digest, repair and renew state,
Oh.
rather than fight, flight, freeze, and fawn.
Mhm.
Now, shifting from here to here is a moment. It's one moment. It's a thought, it's breathing pattern, it's a movement, it's an emotional state. It's very different to this side. You can look exactly the same from one to the other, but physiologically, it's two different people.
Mm.
The
Okay.
state of alertness in this side is on the ceiling,
Uh-huh.
maybe not with physical movements because they are enabled to do it, but the mind is racing, the breathing at a different rate, the emotion, if they're labeled, it would be fear or frustration or anger or resentment or regret.
Mhm.
And this state, the breathing rate's different, words they use are different, heart rate's different, pupil size is different, tone of voice is different,
Mhm.
sense of safety comes from just being there. This sense of safety comes from reactive patterns.
Mhm. Always having to do something rather than just work through it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you take your veteran background and the training that you have and had, and it's embodied almost, that you've seen people in very stressful situations, you've seen people absolutely lose it,
Mhm.
and you've seen people stay really calm with the same set of situations,
Yes.
either side of the extreme. They're
Yeah.
not aware of how they're behaving. These are aware of the threat, but they're aware of their self in that
Mhm.
moment. This is the place of recovery from what is overloading in that moment for any human, if you like. But it's actually the place of recovery from pain,
Mhm.
moving from here to here.
Oh, okay.
Now, when you've lived here for 6 years, for example, lots of surgeries, lots of told 10 different things by 20 different people.
Mhm.
And perhaps before that, again, had I don't know, intensities of life that might have came with a job or a family or a childhood or adolescence or whatever. It means that it feels very normal to be running at that pace. But it's like a car driving at 120 mile an hour on a 70. It's eventually going to get pulled up or something's going to
Right.
happen. And once
Right.
it does, the person desperately wants to go back to 120, what feels normal for them. Because being in this state is almost, it feels unsafe. It's a paradox. It
Mhm.
feels unsafe to go at a pace of life that's not this.
Mhm. Makes sense.
But if you're open to the idea of occasionally placing your body in this, knowing that it won't like it initially, you only do it for a couple of minutes. That's what Curable's doing. Maybe the information I give out about the pain, habit, the patterns. You place yourself in the threat or perceived threat of safety just for a couple of minutes, then you can go back to this.
Mhm. And then probably seeking more, going the other direction more often, I would
Uh,
think.
Exactly. Once the body is accepting of this
Mhm.
as an option rather than this side, with the same cues here,
Mhm.
same cues, you've got choice. Now, with conscious choice, when you're in this state, you have to pick yourself up and place yourself here,
Right. Yes. You have to pull out the phone and go to Curable. And
right? Or
yeah.
without curable, whatever you decide to do, you
Uh-huh.
decide it's the conscious decision to go here, and the mind will say, "Don't go there. We haven't got time. It won't work. You're too broken. You're this. You're that." The mind will give you any idea that keeps you here. It's a familiar heaven rather than unfamiliar hell.
Right. Right. That makes sense.
This processing power is about 1 million bits of data per second. Sorry, no. Yeah, it's about 40 million bits of data per second. It has the potential. It manages about 11 million bits per second. This one's
Wow.
about 40 bits of data per second. So
Much
this is a
calmer.
million times stronger than this. A
Yes.
million times stronger. So
Wow.
talk therapy, when people say, "Oh, you're talking to imagine you're the processor, a million times less powerful. And you say, "Oh, I think I understand intellectually what you're telling me. I need to be calm now.
Mhm.
This traumatic thing happened, this time happened, but it's just your brain, you'd be okay." It doesn't even scratch the surface.
Right. Yes.
You
Much
have to
different.
you have to embody the sense of safety. Embody it. That means there's got to be a gateway in the mind to say, okay, I'm open to this idea.
Yes, and I am open to the idea. I definitely would prefer to do things that are more healthy, healthier for me, and always, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that,
Yeah,
intellectually.
that's
Yes.
lovely. So you are already in the gate. The gate is open. Think of that. You are already psychologically flexible enough to consider two sides of a situation.
Hmm. Yes.
Some people in your situation have spent 10, 15, 20 years still closed to the idea that they can recover.
Mm.
And
No,
it's not
I
their
want to
fault.
recover. Absolutely want to recover because I see glimpses of it. I see the glimpses of it. And so that's, I know it's possible. And I know that the system, the medical system, that the way it's set up is not the answer. I just know it's not. It can help me, and it can help in those, like those structural things you were talking about that are part of me that are not going to change. But the other piece of it, the pain part of it, I do think can change.
Yeah. Is there, do you have any specific questions that I may be able to help you with? Any burning things where you think, oh, I'd like, what, a question about this or that?
Well, I do. I think you've answered it, but I'm going to ask it. The whole label thing of being labeled something is really difficult for me because I know that in the medical system, the VA system that I'm in, it's not helpful. But at the same time, I'm just kind of rebelling against being told that I'm unspecified in unspecified area. So I intellectually in my head, I had this conversation. What am I going to say to my primary care when I see her this summer again? And I don't know that that's necessarily helpful to have a diagnosis, but at the same time, having something unspecified may or may not be helpful for me to navigate through a medical system.
I
And in
understand.
my head, I don't know that it's what I need either.
Okay. Um, Anything that validates your experience will be helpful,
Okay.
right? So it validates the fact that you've got or had this pain for 6 years, all these various pains. And that might explain why the foot swells or is a different color, or the hair grows a little more, or it sweats a little bit more. So there's a medical understanding of these changes. But when it gets called a syndrome, it's simply a collection of things that the medical community can't do anything about in their eyes, but it puts people in a box,
Yes.
right? Now, that might be helpful to some because it can give people a sense of community, an identity,
Hmm.
a place to be. It doesn't matter that it's a painful one. Some people love it. Some
Yeah.
people love their pain because
Yeah.
without the pain, they don't know who they are.
Mm.
They get love, care, kindness, attention, money, uh, a safe space, behaviors that can keep the behaviors that might have contributed to the pain. They can tell the same story over and over and over again. So this
Yeah.
familiarity doesn't have to be particularly objectively nice. It just means it has to be familiar.
Hmm.
You've got a label above it. Some people don't want that ever taken away. So if you see your collection of symptoms as looking like CRPS, complex regional pain syndrome, they say, okay, I understand why I've got these range of conditions that some people have suggested to medically, other people haven't quite understood it, but I'm pretty much sure that that looks like what it is.
Hmm.
Then that's okay. How much you want to identify with is up to you. But the stronger the identity you have with the condition and the symptoms and what you say about it and believe about it, the harder it is to move away from it.
Okay.
Can
That makes a
I
lot of
get a
sense.
sense of safety within myself,
Yeah.
within my body, without needing the pain to give me it? The other reactions to appear before I attend to myself, the boundaries with other people that I might not have established in the past, the boundaries with myself that I might have trodden over,
Hmm.
that the pain now gives me this level of protection. Can I say no without the pain? Can I change the breathing pattern I have, and can I enter a calm emotional state without needing the pain to go?
Right.
Can I
Right.
do it independent of the pain? Do I
Yeah.
have to wait the pain to go to feel better? Can I feel better before the pain goes? And these are just questions. Say, okay, how can I do that with different aspects, which you've already made some suggestions about? But if I give you four very simple categories to maybe consider, it's something that you perhaps, I know that you're open to, but you'll find maybe what resonates with you, maybe what I suggest.
Sure. Let me get a pen. Okay.
Four categories: think,
Hmm.
breathe, move, and feel. That refers to the emotional state. Compare this to, I don't know if you had children or not, or you've looked after young children.
Yes, mine are grown, but yes.
So you could recall your children when they were 3 or 4 as they run to you
Hmm.
in pain, physical pain or emotional pain. Yeah, you've had both experiences. The injury, let's take a small one, a little cut that you know immediately they're going to survive.
Right.
So you very quickly can regulate yourself and they run to you. They think it's the end of the world.
Yes.
They breathe in. How do they breathe?
Rapid, rapid
Rapid.
breathing.
Or they hold the breath.
Uh, yeah.
It's either hide and seek breath. They either hold it to not be found, or they're fast. Yeah,
Right.
up or down. Physically, they're very protective
Uh-huh.
of a small cut.
Right.
Never experienced this before, so it's instinctual. And what's the emotion behind their pain? What's the emotion?
Um, with my son, it was usually fear. It
It's
was
always
like,
fear. It's always
yeah,
fear.
yeah.
It's fear of non-survival of this set of circumstances.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we put the physical injury to one side for a moment. Let's take the emotional one. Somebody's called him a name. I have autumn surprise now, but it was Ginger when I was younger. So if someone called me Ginger Nut, I ran to my mum, right? I think it's the end of the world.
Yes.
Breathing really fast. You know, be
Mhm.
Ginger Nut, can't be Ginger. I didn't know what that means, but you know.
Right.
Physically, there's no injury, but there's the face, the tears, the tension, the hands,
Hmm.
physical representation, how I'm moving, and the feeling is the emotion is fear again of non-survival, of society,
Right.
non-acceptance. I'm not good enough, not valued, not okay. Within 2 minutes of being with you, Kathleen, 2 minutes, how much pain does your son have?
Of me, how much pain would I have in response to
No,
him?
no. When you had 2 minutes with your son and he presented
Uh-huh.
something similar, how much pain would he have after a couple of minutes with you?
Oh, if it's a little light thing, probably not a lot. If, hopefully, um, if there's not blood, if there was blood involved, then it would take more than 2 minutes. But generally, just, being able to talk about it or show me or put a Band-Aid on it or something if it's needed, he was better.
Right. So you're thinking differently, breathing differently, moving
Yes.
differently, and the emotion is swapped with care, kindness, love, setting a
Right.
boundary, listening, validating, giving them the
Right.
timeline. This will take so long. And then quickly we detach the emotions or attach the new ones to the event. Let's get back on your bike. Let's
Right.
go play with your friends
Hmm.
so that when we are not available or long gone, they can access the calm movement, the calm and emotional state soon after emotional or physical pain.
Yes. That makes a lot of sense. Yes.
So, because the instinctual ones will always be there with new experience, but once you've experienced that pain and a route out of it, which is compassion, I know what's happened, I'm moving out of it,
Hmm.
then you're more resilient the next day for the rest of your life. And that pathway is remembered forever.
Hmm.
So when we were looking at persistent pain, The thoughts have stayed catastrophic. The breathing pattern stayed stressful. The movements are very guarded and anticipatory and predictive, and the emotion is based in fear. And then there'll be frustration and anger and resentment and regret. So this move across comes through each of those. So we're going to use each 4 different things and see which one resonates with you. Is that all right?
Sure.
So do you have a pain now?
Yes.
And where would that be? Where would you pick it up straight away? Where would you notice?
In my upper foot.
In which foot, sorry?
My left foot.
As you sat at the moment. Yeah, as you sat at the moment. Yeah. And you've not got your weight on the foot apart from it resting
No,
on the floor.
no.
And it's the upper foot or the sole of the foot.
Well, it's up around, it's around it. So
Okay.
starting at the sole going up over my toes.
Yeah, and it's not a new injury, this. It's the one from 6 years. Okay. So is there any danger at the moment in your room?
No.
Yeah, it's safe, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, your body thinks it's dangerous. Your foot thinks it's dangerous.
Yes, it probably does. Yes.
But there isn't any danger at the moment,
No,
is there?
no.
And you believe structurally everything's been done that should have been done,
Yes.
but it's in this heightened state. So it's your role now to calm that foot down.
Okay.
So we're going to use think. So the belief is that I might be damaged or there's something, but actually, after 3 months, the tissue heals. It might be less conditioned than you'd like it, but there isn't any actual danger from being sat still in the foot.
Yes. There's no danger there.
No danger. It's totally safe, isn't it?
Right.
So we're going to
Yes.
use thoughts, four thoughts. These are the classic lines that Dr. Schubiner uses. Howard Schubiner, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a lovely guy, and he uses these lines, and we're just going to use them to see what it feels like for you. You can either say them or just think them. It doesn't matter. Notice the foot at the moment. Notice your foot.
Mm-hmm.
You got it? Notice the sensation there.
Yes.
It is wherever it is at the moment. And then you can either repeat these or just say them in the head, but just copy the words that I say. Are you ready to have a go?
Yes.
Yeah. I am safe.
I am safe.
I am healthy and strong.
I am healthy and strong.
There is nothing seriously wrong with me.
There's nothing seriously wrong with me.
I am fine.
I am fine.
We do it again. I am safe.
I am safe.
I am healthy and strong.
I am healthy and strong.
There is nothing seriously wrong with me.
Nothing seriously wrong with me.
I am fine.
I am fine. Okay.
Come
I
back.
am safe. There's nothing seriously wrong with me. I am fine. I am healthy and strong.
Good. Okay. So just notice how those thoughts feel in your body. Just notice
Yes.
curiously.
Well, when I'm saying that, I'm not thinking of my foot.
Okay, good. Notice your foot now.
It wasn't as strong as it was when I first focused on it.
Okay, good.
I brought it back. I brought it back to focusing on it, but it wasn't with the same intensity as what
Good.
it was.
So imagine I wasn't here.
Uh-huh.
Imagine I wasn't here. Go through the process now with me. I'll say it, but you can copy me, but I am safe.
Strong. I am strong. I am, oh wait, I am safe. I am healthy and strong. There's nothing seriously wrong with me, and I'm fine.
Okay, and just allow the body to process those words curiously. Let them spin around. Your mind will be going, yes, there is something wrong, and this is wrong, and that's wrong, but let it do its thing. Just stay curious.
I am safe. I am healthy and strong. There's nothing seriously wrong with me, and I'm fine.
Yeah. Just pause after each one. Just allow the body to process it, as if you were just drinking a glass of water and you're letting the body process the water.
I am safe. I am healthy and strong. There's nothing seriously wrong with me, and I'm fine. Yeah, eased up a little bit. Yeah, it didn't go back to where it was. It's a little bit less. Okay. It's like a mantra.
Right. So you only took a minute or two. And you notice how it comes back, but we just went there a little bit, and you start to add smile to it. You've got a lovely smile, lovely eyes, and really nice. I don't know. You're lovely to speak to. So you're always allowing yourself to be comfortable with yourself
Hmm.
by reassuring those words to yourself.
Okay.
That's it, done. So that's thinking. So you might want to use one, two, or three, or four of them occasionally. Anytime you boil the kettle.
Okay. Okay. I think I play bridge a lot with people that have been playing it forever, so I'm learning. I'm in the middle of it. Um, and sometimes my foot, when I am frustrated, will yell at me like, this hurts. And I'm thinking, why are you interrupting what I'm doing? And now I think I can put that back at it when I'm playing and I'm stuck and I don't know what to bid. And I'll just, say, you're safe, just leave me alone.
Good. So that yes, you can do it when your head's in the lion's mouth and there's frustration in the system, and that's when the pain comes back because the pain's linked to
Yes.
frustration. If you can attend to yourself when you boil the kettle and there is no frustration, you really
Uh-huh.
put credit in the bank.
Okay. Okay.
Do you
Yeah. So
only
I'm
brush?
like putting it when I need it. It's already in there and I can just
Yeah,
drop
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it. Okay. Okay.
If you do it when the kettle's boiled, there's hot water to deal with.
Uh-huh.
If you turn the kettle off before it boils, you're dealing with lukewarm water.
Okay. Okay. That
And
makes a
that's
lot
all
of
about the
sense.
traits about Kathleen doing for others first and needing to be this much pain before she'll even acknowledge herself and doing for
Uh-huh.
others first. And you might recognize some of those traits that are quite common
Right.
and they're not bad traits. They just need managing, especially when you have pain or you've had overload in your life and you haven't allowed the body to process that moment.
Okay. That's very useful. Yes.
So that's think. Yeah, we can do something else.
Yes.
Breathe. So this
Breathe.
one's really easy, really easy. I'll do it with you.
Yes.
This is
Breathe.
5 in, 5 out, nasal breathing, all in through the nose, all out through the nose.
Okay.
And we can do a minute together, at least a minute. I'll do the first one and then I'll just join in together. So I'll count and talk, but let me do the first one or two and then I'll get you to join in. So it's in through the nose, 5, and out through the nose. So breathe in and then breathe out. And in and out. In through the nose. Notice how effortless it is. Then out through the nose. You're almost observing your breath. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. Let your mind do whatever your mind wants to do. You don't have to get rid of thought. Breathe out. Just let the thoughts do what they want and bring your awareness back to your breath. Breathe in and out. In and out. I'm going to be quiet after this one. You just do 3 more that you control the pace. I'll do them with you. That's it.
All right. I have a visitor. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Oh, the cats are loving that relaxed state because she's coming to you.
Yes. Yes.
Cats sense it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Animals
Definitely.
sense it.
Yes.
So how did that feel for you?
That felt great. Yes, I didn't, my foot didn't come to mind at all. It was just, yes.
It's a minute and a half to 2 minutes. I normally say 2 minutes. Have a little play with that 2 minutes. Anytime you like, when the kettle, the end of the day, bath bottle bed, bring the system down, do it when you fancy it, treat yourself to it.
Okay. Okay.
You brush your teeth twice a day. You don't wait for the pain to come to brush your teeth.
No, I do it regardless.
Okay? And you're doing this just because you're worth it.
Okay.
You're breathing anyway
Right. Yes.
at this rate, and you're deciding to breathe at this rate.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Breathing anyway. I don't have to be over here. I can be over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Third one, move. Move.
Yes.
Move. Tell me the safest place in your body you have. Really trust the most.
Where in my body? Um, where in my body do I trust? I would say my heart, because it just beats and I don't have to do anything. It just beats.
Good, good. So we'll use around the muscles around that. Can you move your shoulders like this? How does that feel?
Um, I feel it, but it's okay. I
Okay,
need
do
to
it
use
less.
them anyway.
Do it less. Like,
Oh,
like, like really quite small.
okay, yeah, that feels much better.
All right, good, good. So we're just going to do 10,
Okay.
as if you're whispering yourself, as if you just give yourself a gentle loosen after you've been on the computer or done some tasks or working, or you just saying to the body, yeah, yeah, we're good with it. We're on
Okay.
down. Yeah, so just nice and easy. You use a movement to represent safety without your mind having to do anything.
Ah, okay.
This symbolizes safety to your brain.
Ah, okay.
6 breaths a minute symbolizes safety to the brain. I am safe, healthy, and strong. There's nothing seriously wrong with me. I'm fine. Represents safety to your brain.
Okay.
Have a rest and just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Allow it to process like you've had something to eat or a glass of water. Let the body process what you're doing.
Wow.
It's watching you. Lads, lasses, Kathleen's moving her shoulders nice and gently. What does that mean? I don't know. She doesn't normally move and she normally tends.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It just kind of is.
Let's
There's
go.
nothing else. It's
Let-
just like it
Let's have a
is.
go. Let's have a go. Let's have a go.
Okay.
Yeah, whispering to yourself. The movement's just movement. It couldn't damage anybody your age, height, weight, or 50 years older than you. Doesn't matter. It's totally okay. I'm 54. It doesn't look dangerous to me. I don't know how old you are, but
61.
right. So it's a safe thing for me and you to do at the moment. Just doing 10 of them, just have a rest, let the body just process what we've done. Curiously, whether it changes or it doesn't matter.
Oh, I felt it kind of go down my spine a bit.
Oh,
That was
good.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. Should we do
Yeah.
one? Should we do
Oh,
one more?
sure.
You lead, I'll copy.
Okay.
You're in charge. You're the executive director of trillions and trillions of cells, and they're all watching to see what Kathleen's up to.
Because they never know.
Well, they're going to know because now they're going to see this is predictable. Each day, Kathleen's looking after her because they never did know. So they had to preempt you waking up by being tense and in pain before you even opened your eyes.
Mm.
Once you show them, once you show yourself that you don't need to force or push past, we are going to move and challenge the body in time, but not yet. We're just putting some credit in the bank. Once you commit to that and you
Uh,
mean it, body, the mind follows immediately.
mm. Mm. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Move shoulders gently. Because you could tell just by my, really wanting to get into that, the kind of thing, how I react to world and life and a new challenge. It's like, okay, let's go all in. Whereas this
Yes.
is just a gentle movement. And it's just a gentle movement. Tell the body not in danger. There's no pain, nothing. It's just a gentle way of here we are. safe.
Right. It's your default with exercise is go hard or go home. Normally it's go hard
Uh-huh.
or go home. It's very military.
Yes, yes. And yet gentle is really what works.
Exactly.
Hmm. Yeah.
Military pushing through gets praise and survival and coping and medals and achievement and it has its place, but not perpetually to overcome persistent pain.
Yes, and I will say that I'm very interested in this whole Tai Chi thing. So I know Tai Chi is very slow. I've done it in water before, but I've never done it standing on land. Um, so I did that probably 15, 20 years ago where I was with a bunch of really older people than me at that time even. And I really liked it. I did it during my lunch hour and I ran and did it and then came back and of course did my hectic day. But for that 30 minutes, that was just a very slow movement. So I'm going to check into that too. Let me do that. Tai Chi. I'll write that down.
Last one,
Yes.
feel. This is
Yes.
this is feeling an emotion. And some people like this, some people don't. It isn't my first choice just because I like the breathing and intellect around pain and moving. But this is really important for some people. If you can name the emotion attached to your foot pain, what would it be?
To my footprint.
Yeah, foot pain. If you said, "Oh, it
Oh,
makes
foot
me,"
pain.
yeah,
Oh, I was thinking positively, like what am I leaving in the world?
yeah.
Foot pain.
How do,
Annoying.
annoying?
I don't
Yeah,
know
so
if
you're
that's a
annoyed.
feeling. That's not really, is that a feeling?
Being
Annoying?
annoyed, yeah, fearful, frustrated, annoyance, regret, uh, you know,
Irritated.
irritated.
It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like that thing that's there a lot and I don't really welcome it.
that's okay. So this is the feeling. So the feeling is irritation or frustration or annoyance. Whatever you find authentically kind of is linked to that pain.
Uh-huh.
That means if you had another situation in your life that was very irritating, which pain do you think you would more likely to experience?
My foot
Right,
pain.
right. Does
Yeah. Yes.
that make sense?
Yes. I feel it now. It's tensing up. Yes.
All right, good. So what we're going to do is in this part for 90 seconds again,
Hmm.
just 90 seconds. You are totally safe where you are. You are going to allow that feeling to belong there.
Oh,
If you're happy to,
yeah.
only if you're happy to, I'm with you. That feeling might be unpleasant. It might
Uh-huh.
annoy you, but I'm just going to ask you, what is it like if you could sit and observe the annoyance within you and just say that it belongs? That's okay, and it belongs. I'm just going to sit there now.
Yeah.
Clock started. Don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to do anything. Just stay with the annoyance.
Which is annoying.
Stay with it. Don't judge it. Stay there. Stay with it. Allow it. Let it be there. Notice the space between the annoyance and your reaction to the annoyance. You can decide when you want to react, or you can observe it. Just stay with the sensation. Another minute. You don't have to do anything at all. There's nothing to do. You're simply being with that sensation alongside it, validating it, acknowledging it, allowing it to happen and do whatever it does. Not getting rid of anything or fighting it. Just watching, feeling it. 10 seconds. That's it. It's all done.
Okay. Oh, that was rough. Mm. So now I'm moving it because I wasn't moving it because I didn't do anything to it. I just let it be there, but now I'm just kind of moving it a little bit to
And that's okay. It's
adjust it.
okay. That's okay as well. Yeah. Let's go back to this one. Yeah. At the same time, take a nice deep breath. To be much tying a couple of things together. I am safe. and healthy and strong. Nothing seriously wrong with me. I am fine. I am safe. Healthy and strong. There's nothing seriously wrong with me. I am fine. I'm on a road to recovery. I'm taking steps every day in the right direction. I deserve it. Don't have to justify it to anyone. Kathleen's looking after Kathleen, and this is Kathleen doing it in this moment. That's done. It's finished. Have a rest. How's that?
Better. I prefer that to the last one. That was good. That kind of tied it all in, gave a better outcome.
Always finish with a win.
Yeah.
Always finish with a win. A sense of reward from that's whichever authentic one. You can't love all of those things. It's impossible. You'll have a favorite, and if you did them in a different order, you might find which one you like. Or you might be able to say, Drew, I love the movement, I love the breathing, I love the words. But you definitely told me what you didn't like. You don't like the emotion.
No, which makes me think that's what I probably need more of. Because if
Um,
that brings me the most uncomfortableness, then
when you're ready, remember it's like a dog or a cat under the settee on fireworks night. In the UK, we have a fireworks night every year.
uh-huh.
We celebrate burning someone at the stake 400 years ago or something. Strange people, us English. And and so the fireworks go outside and there's lots of bangs, but the animals are petrified.
Uh,
So you can't just put a collar on the cat and drag it outside and say, no, it's okay, these fireworks.
mhm.
That's your nervous system, just like the animals. It'll come with you with a struggle, but it'll be straight back under the
Uh,
settee.
okay.
So you have to judge how much exposure you give to what your body inherently likes or doesn't like, and start with a line of least resistance.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, well, I would say probably the moving. That was probably the path of least resistance because I liked it. That was great.
Right. And there's
And
more
it
chance of
wasn't doing.
good.
Yeah.
The breathing is easy because you're breathing anyway. The words
Uh-huh.
are easy because they're just words.
Right. Right.
And when you're ready, say, I'm going to sit and wait for this sensation by foot and label it and be okay with it. Whenever, you don't even have to do it. When you're with children, sometimes tell them they're okay, does it? Sometimes hugging them and say, it's fine, darling, it'll pass is
Uh-huh.
enough. Sometimes moving their arm a little bit is the
Right.
trick. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's take a deep breath, now move your arm, you're going to be okay. But get back on your
Right.
bike. How do you feel? Have a cry. Sometimes you have to mix them all up.
Okay.
It's intuitive with children. You know what your children need.
Hmm.
You have to be intuitive and say, what do I need? What do I need to recover from this? I need to
Right.
face this. I need to just wait. I need to do this or be in this state. I need to maybe pause. I'll pace myself. I've got to push a bit. It's a
Mm.
little bit of trial and error as to what voice works, what words work, what mechanisms you can access effortlessly. But it's a lovely when you view it like a game because it's curiosity that doesn't kill the cat.
No. Uh-uh.
It actually creates possibilities that you
Yes.
never. Sometimes we find are hard to access.
Oh,
But I'm sure
yeah.
your openness and allowing me to play around with some things that we've explored today might be helpful to other people who watch it.
Oh, okay.
I
Well, it
hope
was
you
very
found it
helpful
helpful.
to me. It was very, very helpful to me. And I took my little notes on blue stickies. So I will stick them around and use them. So I really appreciate you gave me a lot of useful things and a different way of looking at it.
Well, thanks very much for sharing your time and stay in touch. You're in the group, so if
Yes.
we'll stay in touch. And
Okay, great.
you, your openness is so welcoming, and that attitude of being, I'm curious about getting better, and you I'm quite like you. Very, very driven and want to do it perfectly and regret. But actually, if you can soften the intensity of that and think, okay, well, let's see how we go with this and be curious.
Right.
That's where actually you get the bigger gains.
Okay.
Just slowing
Soften the
ourselves down.
intensity. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But I wish you the best of luck with it. It's a pleasure speaking to
Thank
you. So
you.
let's stay in touch.
I will do that. Thank you so much. You're very wonderful at what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye, Kathleen.